Sticks and stones may break my bones. Obviously. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xerath Prevails. We're in the Plan, which is my weekly show that I talk about all the various shenanigans and things that have occurred on the holotables during the week. I'm actually doing it one day earlier than I normally do. I normally do it on a Friday. This is coming out on Thursday, however, because there's a lot going on this week. It's been a very, very, very busy week, full of information, and I'm sure that there's some of the stuff that I tell you that's going to be old news to some of you. However, I do think that there's a certain amount of, I don't know, I don't expect everyone to pick everything up that I do, and I probably missed a few things as well, and I just want to make sure that this information is out there to the people who want to watch this, the people who know what's up. Now, all the people who want to have a better grasp of what is going on and the things that are happening. I want to discuss it. So, yeah, let's just jump into it, shall we, folks? First, I want to remind you that if you want to support this channel for free, all you've got to do is hit that thumbs up button, make a comment in the comments area, subscribe, maybe. I mean, we're still in striking distance. We could get to 15K by the end of the year if we really worked hard. And by we, I mean you, and that would be awesome. But one way or another, we got to mount the algorithm, folks. Help me, help you. I mean, don't be just a one-time algorithm mounter. People make fun of you. People will be like, oh, they're probably just getting old. Alright, so the week started almost kind of innocently. Just another CG mistake. We don't really know what's going on. They've been fairly difficult to predict motivations-wise. It's like, well, we think you want to make money. And they're like, well, we do. And we say, oh, well, you should act like this. And they're like, oh, should we actually make more money doing this? And it's true, like, they make so much money, you can't really doubt it. But I don't know what the money's in there for with this. That was probably one of the poorest constructed sentences in the world ever. I don't even know if it was English, if it qualifies. I don't even know if it qualifies as a sentence. Kyber 1 is about to end, though, folks, and I know some of you probably don't care. You're like, oh, good, less crystals for them. Those a-holes deserve every less crystal that they get. And that's probably true. We're all probably a-holes who deserve no better than to have all our crystals taken away. However, I just think it's interesting that they have decided to scoot us all out slowly. We've been losing like 500 to 700 people, I think, per season in Kyber 2 or Kyber 1 at this point, and all the Kybers are actually starting to dump their people out. It's just a big slide. You can see the graph here is December. Now as I click into it, this is the December overlaid with the November, and you can barely see a change. It's just like a few more points of data that are apparent is all, which means CG is using the exact same formula to push people out. Now, I've presented this in other videos, and people have said that they don't believe my analysis, that it's just people mass exodusing and quitting the game. And I mean, it's like, well, I don't think the data really supports that, and we don't have all the data right now anyways. This isn't really going to be a data. Well, there's a lot of data that I'm going to be sharing, but about other things. This one, though, I just want to say that this is an intentional, or maybe it's just a fail on their part thing that CG is specifically targeting. Like, they have to be, either they like have a formula like dramatically wrong, some number just went weird, I don't know, or they're trying to get us all out of Kyber 1, because it's only going to take like 3 or 4 more seasons. At this rate, I will be out of Kyber 1, and I'm in the top 50 right now. I don't know what to tell you. Like, Kyber 1 will disappear to what effect? Like, to why do they want that? No idea. I really have no idea. It's going to be very interesting days ahead of us. But Who cares? It's the squishing, guys. We all got squished down. It's sad. It's not a reflection of your skill. Reva kit was released, and it's interesting. We won't be able to play with it for months, so I'm not really going to offer a ton of commentary on her. Like, she's going to be very worth getting, and we all knew that, right? I mean, she was always going to be amazing. First, I thought it was interesting that she's just plain third sister. She's not Reva, she's third sister. Grand Inquisitor is, I guess, just Grand Inquisitor, but like, they're all just numbers. That's all they are. I figured Reva was enough of a personality and she's a big enough of a deal that she'd have a different thing than just a number, but I mean, maybe it's just me being naive. It really doesn't. I don't care about that. That's fine. However, people have been asking this a lot, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to put this out right now. So the shard, or the event to get Reva's unlock is going to be in the third day, the third sector. I don't know all the terminology, apparently. You've only been doing territory battles for 5 years. You'd think I know the terminology, but it requires Relic 7 Inquisitors, and one of them is going to be left out. That's just how it is, and so people want to know which Inquisitors do they want to work on, which ones should they work on early that are safe. And I don't, first off, I mean, besides Grand Inquisitor, we don't know for sure. There's a lot of question marks, and I'm actually going to put out some kind of a primer thing about about Grand Inquisition in general here, kind of soonish, just so you guys understand. We'll talk about, probably do a really basic faction essentials for them and talk about certain things, but for now, I just want to point out that if you want to put Relic 7, if it's just burning a hole in your pocket, you have to spend it. You have to put some kind of upgrade on that squad. You have to keep working on it, keep momentum going. I get it. That's kind of how I'm feeling too with my Professor X account, because everyone's Relic 5 now, no one's at 7. So the safe ones, folks, are going to be Grand Inquisitor, obviously. Get him to 7. Get him to 8. He's going to warrant it. I mean, if you want to, get him to 8, I guess. Otherwise, Ninth Sister is the one tank on the squad until we get Reva. I don't think she's going to go anywhere. I think she's pretty safe. And even if she somehow does get left off of the final mission for Reva unlock, she is going to be super helpful in a lot of other game modes. She's one of the very few, kind of plug-and-play Inquisition, and so you can get her to 7, and she's going to benefit from it by a pretty big margin. The other one's going to be Fifth Brother, that's kind of quote-unquote safe to work on. Not only is he going to, he has the Dispel, he has a lot of abilities that are just really, really strong. The other thing about Fifth Brother is he's going to be the pilot for the new latest meta hotness, the Purge, the whatever it's called. Who knows? I don't know the names of things, folks. I'm not Quoth, damn it all. But those are the ones that I would recommend. Otherwise, just bide your time. We're gonna see what the mission looks like in, I don't know. It'll be in a week, less than a week from now. It'll be very interesting, but we don't know. Maybe it'll be more than a week. Who freaking knows, guys? I don't. Now, here's an interesting thing. When the update was just starting to populate, immediately everyone started seeing GETIII slot, like a placeholder for it, on their account, and they were like, oh, hey, look at that. We have a cap to how much conquest currency that we're getting, and everyone is a little bit disgruntled by it, and I mean, it's in perfect keeping with what CG's been doing. I mean, we can't hoard all of these cool things because CG doesn't want us to be able to do that. They want us to spend all of our resources, so then when they do require those resources for something, then we can't just instantly get them. However, I mean, that's kind of like a conspiracy theory, though, because I don't know what times they've actually made that a thing, like the conquest currency. They've never been like, oh yeah, you need all of it. You need all 3,500 to be able to spend it on one really important thing, and I don't know, that they just haven't done that yet. the attenuators, so it's kind of within keeping of it. However, the other piece of it is once we got the final update earlier today, it went from 25k as the cap to 20k. And so, of course, people are disgruntled. You know, I think I put out a meme, actually. I was like, this deal is getting worse every time. Where a GIF, whatever, with Lando. And the deal is getting worse. I don't love this, guys. I hoard my GETIII 1 and 2 pretty well. Well, I guess I started spending my 1. But I have like 200k of GETIII 2. And so it's going to be difficult, like 20k. And not to mention, well, it's pretty easy to spend the GETIII 3. There's some pretty interesting stuff in that store. It's all a little bit sad. I'm gonna wait for a little bit to talk about the value of that stuff, because I think we need to do more math, frankly. We need to figure out. Right now, GETIII 3 hasn't very much impressed me. We'll say that about what it can buy. It can buy an Omicron every week. That's really nice. That's really nice. And that maybe that's the only thing I'll spend it on. I'm not sure. One way or another, it's capped, and I don't think like it's a little bit annoying, but at the same time, I don't think that we should be that surprised. I'm not. And reducing it from 25k to 20k, I mean, if you've seen the prices in that store, it's not going to be hard to spend that currency down anyways. Traya got a new Omicron. You guys can read about it here or elsewhere. You don't have to read it here, but you can stay here. Just kidding. I don't know. I'm trying to quote a song and it doesn't really work. But Grand Arena, really good cron. We'll just leave it at that. Like it's going to probably be one of those things that, like, yeah, I think I can, if I get my Traya squad relic enough, I think I could beat Lord Vader most versions, you know, Datacrons depending, you know, but it looks really strong, like instant apply strong, and then start considering putting talons on hers, because now talons actually has a purpose. I'm not saying you should do it. We'll do an analysis later on that. I'm not sure what valuation Talon's gonna have now that this, but this is very good. The thing that struck me as funny though was, like, there's a bunch of competitive players who were like, oh man, the update's here, what am I gonna do? I mean, GAC's already started, so we don't have that lock-in you know, phase to be able to get it, but instantly people were trying to apply the Traya Omicron, and I don't blame them. I want to do it too. I don't have enough mats for it, but I want to. And it turns out they didn't add it, and they didn't really communicate. They just said, here's the news. Like, they put out the update notes, and the initial note says, like, I'm not making this up. This is on their official forums page on their post. It says Darth Traya has a new Omicron, and then they crossed it out and just wrote in red letters, it'll be in the next update. Cool. Thank you for that. I don't know. I can wait. I'm patient. We can all be patient, right? We can't. That was a trick question. We can't. I can be patient, though. Some of you can. I'm sure some of you can. If you're listening to me plod my way through this every week, you probably are made of exceptional material, exceptionally patient material, and I appreciate every single one of you who is patient with me. Now, to start the discussion of this controversy, I'm going to pause for a second to get a drink of water, because I am a little bit parched, apparently. Okay. I am not as parched as before. So, CG shot themselves in the foot in a big way by releasing this little infographic thing, this little chart, because this maps out the new territory battle minimum requirements to be able to fight in the various missions, to be able to place platoon characters, to do all this stuff. You have to be this relic to enter, and of course, half of it is just totally inaccessible to the majority of the player base. Like Relic 8, Relic 9, pure madness. Like, to be able to play the second half of territory battles is like just unapproachable for the majority of players, and even the biggest players, the most amazing GP of them all, they have like 40 or so Relic 9s. Like, I face them in GAC, but there's never any full squads of them unless it's 3v3. No one has this. No one has Phase 5 and Phase 6. They're not Phase 5 or Phase 6 ready. And in a lot of ways, this is actually a good thing that they made a lot of this territory battle unapproachable, because we need something to work for, and if they did something like this, something that's long-term that players won't be able to access for like a year or two, just think of it like this, guys. If you were planning to shut down a business, you were going to do one last cash grab, you were going to just find one last little thing to be able to take all the money of your current customers. Not that you're crooked like that, but if you were, just try for a second to just be crooked as hell, and think of what would you do. Like, would you put in a ton of effort, or like you probably just put just enough effort in to like not get caught, not to be seen through, right? You'd want people to see, and the fact is, this is effort that is actually like it has something that like it tracks in real life as like real, you know? It's actually content that we're going to be playing for the first time in like a year or two. And they wouldn't make that. They wouldn't put all that effort in. I'm not saying that it's great. I'm not saying that it's fun. I'm not saying anything about that. But they put enough effort in to keep, like, they assume that the game is going to last for the next few years. And that is actually good, and combats one of the more irritating things that I keep hearing, in that CG is doing one last cash grab and they're out. However, this infographic does really poison the community against CG a lot, because they're like, oh my gosh. I mean, I don't know how many people asked me today in the comments on YouTube, on my Discord, like just randomly DMing me, and I just ignore a lot of them, but like, but I need Relic 9 Acolyte. I'm like, you don't need Relic 9 Acolyte. You don't need that. I get that you think like that this chart does no good for CG, no good for me either, because I'm answering these like, no guild is going to be using Relic 9 Acolytes, because those are phases 5 and 6, and that is a long time off. It is months, if not years, away from being able to play. And the argument that you need Relic 9 to be able to play in this new territory battle is patently false. It just is. Like, and it always has been. Ever since they released this, people have just chosen to go the hyperbolic route, and it kind of irritates me a little bit, but we'll get more into that. So they released this lovely graphic. It feels like the community is kicking me in the nuts, actually. CG just like sent them, though. They're like, hey, it'd be cool. Let's see that guy over there. Just go tap him in his zipper, That's what we used to tell people when we. It's not nice. When I was growing up, you'd tell a little kid like, "Hey, go touch go tap that guy in his zipper," and they'd go up and just like a little 2-year-old, and just like, bam, nut shot, instantly stealthed nut shot. It was really good stuff. We did that at church. It was worth talking about on a Galaxy of Heroes show, apparently. I still think it's hilarious. I need to grow up. Alright, so more information has surfaced, and so all day, all night, all day, everyone, before we get this update, people are like, this is horrible, this is terrible, CG is awful, no one can actually play this game, this new mode, except for Mega Krakens. No one can do this, reward structure's awful, all this stuff. And I mean, I agree, like, everything relies on the reward structure, right? Like, why bother doing it if the reward structure is bad? So, we finally, they sent out the update, and, we have these little infographics here that show, and this is like player constructed, but it shows per level or per star level how many rewards you get per star level. And it's kind of nice. And then you have to remember that we're also working on Reva shards, and the Reva shards are a significant reason to do this, even if we were getting paid a lot less in rewards, which we're not really, as you'll see in a minute. It kind of seemed like that at first, but we're also, it's worth a significant pay cut just to farm Reva, in my opinion. Like if you're not able to farm Reva, if you're not in a guild that can do it, then potentially you want to stay in, like, say, territory battles or whatever. But I mean, I don't think you're gonna want to, frankly, once you see this. But we have this exists as even if we're getting paid less, you're going to want to take the cut just to get Reva shards because she's awesome. That's all. I'm just stammering my way through it. Now, this is apparently just a slightly embiggened version of the other one. And the truth is, guys, and I'll show you a little bit more in a minute, but a lot of guilds are going to get to 20 stars or more. And that's just knowledge, because they released all of the deployment, like the total thresholds to get 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars, or whatever, are really low across the board, and you'll see in a minute. But like my 460 million guild for my alt, which, I mean, that is a way bigger than average guild, but we're gonna get 23 stars without ever doing a single wave. Like, we'll just log in and deploy, and we'll get 23 stars, which is, it's a lot. It's pretty good. So here's the little chart that shows all the different deployments, like the star thresholds. It's in the data mine. I mean, maybe CG will change it. I don't know. But right now, it's looking like we're going to be able to get through quite a few zones just by deploying. And so when people are making fun of the CG, saying like, oh yeah, CG said this, CG said like, guilds that are getting 20 stars in, like, say, territory battles should try this. And as it turns out, like, it looks like it's relatively, like, well structured to the point that these guilds are gonna actually be able to participate. Even if they can't even make any attacks, they can at least deploy. And I don't know, it's just an interesting thing. It's not nearly as punishing as we had imagined. So, comments from various YouTube channels, some of them mine, some of them other places, probably, maybe, I don't know. Okay, so someone says, nice, new territory battle for 10 to 15 guilds in the game. It'll be nice to watch it on videos, though. And, 10 to 15. It's like CG wouldn't spend all that money just to get 10 to 15 guilds. Honestly, like, that's just, 750 people or something like that, max. They're not gonna spend all that money and time and effort just for 750 people to enjoy things. Like, there's just no way. We've been asking for a sandbox mode for years, and they've said that same thing. The effort doesn't justify the price, or the effort that we have to do, that we have to put into it, and the price and the end results are only like a few people are going to engage, because sandbox mode is just going to be for like people who like to test things, and I get that. It's just kind of funny to me. People assume that only Krakens are like, they spend months and months and months toiling away so that a few Krakens could actually just play in their little playground. Alright, this is actually fairly difficult to read. So this is yeah, let me get real up close here. So this is on this talk. Me and Sarah were talking on Create Expectations about this, and they about why we thought territory battles might have some hope for people. And this person says, I quit listening at 13-minute mark because I was tired of hearing over and over again why CG's design of the new TB was just peachy good. Hold on a sec, guys. Alright, here we go. Was just peachy good. I had hoped to hear some ideas about how we might actually be able to do the new territory battle now. Not in a year or so from now, since I've got 2 accounts, both in 400 million GP guilds. I'm not sure either one will be able to get more than a single star in phase 1. And now remember that this is before we knew more about the stars and how many we're going to be able to get. But I mean, yeah. We actually did talk about strategy. It was just after 13-minute mark, so for whatever it's worth. And then finally, this one says, oh, let's do this thing again. Okay, my issue is that we were told by CG that a guild that gets around 20 stars in Lightside Geo should be able to do this new territory battle, but based on what we are seeing so far, that is in no way true. And I just don't I don't get like the why do we have to be gloomy? Why do we have to just assume that things are gonna be awful? CG's like, yeah, go ahead and play this thing and just, you know, just hate life. They want us to enjoy the game. I mean, so they fail at that sometimes, for sure. I just, you know, if you want to listen to my reasoning on why I thought the Lightside Territory Battle had a lot of hope, despite a lot of like kind of negative seeming things, you can watch the Create Expectations episode that came out yesterday. What's the video immediately before this, but at the end of the day, like that, I got a lot of comments like this where CG obviously lied, and it was obviously, I was obviously wrong for not just being instantly angry. Instant anger. We need to generate instant anger and rage and yell and scream and, you know, like not be rational, I guess. Yeah, we have this awesome meme here, and then I told them, you guys can read it. Like, it's kind of funny. I kind of like just skip that rage part sometimes. I feel like sometimes I must just be Vulcan or something, because, like, why do we need to jump to these conclusions and get angry about these things? I don't understand. Like, we didn't have enough information, and then we suddenly did have enough information, and suddenly everyone's like, oh, this looks pretty chill. Like, you just log in and deploy, and that's it. That's all I have to do. Yeah, man, like, this seems pretty good. And maybe we don't have the full information again. Maybe the data mine's wrong. I don't know. I hope not. I really hope that it's just like, CG's like, yeah, we intended for the first few phases to be really easy. And I don't know, guys. That's the thing that really irks me at the end of the day, is people just jumping to conclusions about things before they even have the full information. Okay, let me back that up real quick and just say, I love it that people feel angry about this game, that they love this game enough that they feel rage, that they feel really, really, really strong emotions, because that means that they're attached to it, that they're passionate about it, they like the game, that this game has strong followers. Like, if they released an update and it was all broken and awful and the whole player base was just like, yeah, whatever, like, that would be a bad sign, right? Like, we want that passion. That's good. We want people to be excited about the game. And so I don't blame people for this. I really struggle just in general in life when people just immediately get gloomy. Like, I know I do that sometimes too. I've done it for this game before, a few times for sure. And I've been wrong about doing that. And sometimes like my like pre-rage was justified, but like, it's in no way a certain thing, right? Like, whatever. You don't need a lecture about how an emotional response is different from a rational one. I tend to just jump to the rational, logical thing first, and I just kind of skip the rage. And it's like, is it fun? I'm just curious. You guys know better than me, I guess. Anyways. I did think that, so this week we've had everything so far, and I mean, we still have a couple days, so maybe we'll get it, but the new territory battle has some really beautiful art, except for Hera. Hera, it looks awful for some reason. She just doesn't, she looks like dog stuff. Anyways, you guys can go find the pictures on the forums yourselves. So Afra's just standing there front and center, and we don't have her at all. And actually, I don't really care that much. I want to see her kit, of course, but I'm not going to get her anyways when she launches. And the longer we have this Sana just hanging out and, you know, like not being required yet for this panic farm, the better for me. I just wonder when Afra's going to be here. She has to be here pretty soon in order for the whales to have justified their actual, you know, pre-spending with her and stuff. But so I just want to know, where's Afra? She's not going to be here for the first Lysae territory battle, despite being kind of like one of the central figures. Not really that big of a deal, I suppose. So, anyways, folks, I think that's it. Be more patient, some of you. Some of you treat other people with more grace. That's me. I need to do that. People annoy me. I still need to show them more patience and love if I can. You know, it like not the appropriate kind of love, folks. Don't worry. Don't you worry. But one way or another, I think we're gonna call it good. This video has been me rambling for way too long. I hope that some of this information was helpful to you, and I hope you understand that I am actually still a little bit nervous that this whole thing is gonna blow up. I think that there's been a lot of hyperbole and a lot of frustration that was like unnecessary. People twisted themselves up into knots that probably didn't need to form at all, and I regret that. I wish people didn't have to didn't feel the need to do that. And you know, I guess we'll just see what happens. It's looking promising, I guess. Some of the art looks pretty good. There's been data mines for the different characters. People have joked that, oh, that's cool, you should look at the data mines now because you won't see those characters for 2 years. And I mean, I kind of get that. We want that long-term content. In my opinion, it's good for the game. Anyways, I know I went longer than usual for the plan, but I want to hear what your thoughts are on all of these things. I hope that my tired brain didn't just totally forget and skip some of the points that I wanted to make. But one way or another, we'll see you next week in the plan. We'll see you probably tomorrow for more content. So thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xerath falls asleep 5 minutes after publishing this video. Have a good one, folks.